Hey guys, Professor Griffin. We're doing switching over from back end with our Flask stuff. Now we're gonna do some front end. Um, Start from scratch with some basic stuff we've already covered in class, but if I'm gonna do some videos, I might as well start from the beginning. So I've got a plugin called HTML5. It gives me a simple skeleton for a web page. So if I save that, you can't see this, but dang it, I have live reload installed. Maybe you can see it over here. Yeah, live server is installed so that when you install it, and there's a little button they put in the bottom toolbar which you can't see. You just click it and it opens up your page on a live server locally on your system, so that it'll render, because sometimes JavaScript doesn't act right if you just save it into a file and then try to open it in your browser. So if I open up my browser, hit refresh, move my browser around, yeah, so it shows nothing, and I would show you the code but on the back end, but let's just put some stuff in here. So we want to show a map. So to show a map, we need to add a couple of things. So the most important thing, if we're using Mapbox, is to add a script that brings in Mapbox's JavaScript. We could download this and store it locally, but not important right now. We're not like developing to send off anywhere, so we'll just drag it down, or we'll call it in with just a script source tag that's external. The other thing is we want to add the style sheet that goes with Mapbox. We'll call this one first map. So this helps style when the map gets loaded. This will give us the functionality that Mapbox gives us. I'm going to add another style sheet. I'm pulling all of this off of, well, one, I've already written it, but two, I really just stole it from Mapbox's example pages. It's just a little extra styling. So hashtag map means there's an element somewhere with an ID of map, and so we need to make sure we get that into the body, because that's where the map will get served. So put that right here. If you notice, we pull in style sheets in the head tag, and then scripts pretty much at the bottom of the body tag. Yeah, that just became a thing like maybe a decade ago. Get your style sheets loaded first, and then start loading the JavaScript stuff. Another thing I'm going to load is a jQuery JavaScript library from a CDN. CDN is, online, again, stored externally. And see the cross origin anonymous tag. Remember, we have some issues with one domain trying to access or execute code on another domain, so this just says we're good for now. Anyway, we could delete both of these things. Now let's do it. If this was production, we would not want to do that. Anyway, okay, so we've got our jQuery, we've got our Mapbox JavaScript. The other thing we want to do is, I'm cutting and pasting. Actually, no, I'll type this one. So the code to load a map needs to be in its own script tag. I'm going to right click, format. Ooh, nice. So you can load a formatter that will indent all your stuff for you. So if I save this now, I'm probably going to get an error because that token isn't any good. So if I said Option Command I, we get, let me slide this over, token is not defined. And it's not defined because I switched it up a little bit, because I don't want my token to be visible on any of these YouTube videos. So you're going to have to get your own token, but what I did was I created a route on my Flask app, and I don't need to go over that because we've been over it a million times on Flask, but here in my script, format, so I added this window.onload event, and this is a little different syntax than you're used to. It's a JavaScript syntax, but basically it's saying, hey, when this event happens, we're going to set it equal to, this is just a generic function syntax. It's saying, it's letting you define a function that you can pass in parameters, and it has a function body, and inside that function body, so when the window loads, I'm just basically doing a GET request from my Flask backend that has a route called token, and I think we can look at it real quick. I don't have my Flask things. There it is. We'll just drag it in here. So if I go localhost / token, that's all it does, is it returns my token. Okay, so inside the code, it'll return the token, and then I wrapped my everything else in a function called my Mapbox. And the reason is, if we don't hold on, and I'll add the function. Well, I'll do it now. So function my Mapbox token, and we'll take this one and put it at the bottom. Format to get the nice indentation. Okay, so what's going on? Window loads, this GET request fires off, I log that data to my console, and then I call my Mapbox with the token. This is called a callback function. I didn't pass it in as a callback, but basically this doesn't get run until this .get executes and finishes. If I didn't wrap this in a function down here so that it gets called when the token is received, this would still try to run, and we would get an error because token wouldn't exist, because JavaScript is asynchronous. It'll continue running code as it goes down. So let's reload my page again. Get rid of that. Reload. Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't save. I didn't save. Whew. Well, there's the token now. Alright, now all I did, load a map centered on Wichita Falls. The only thing that makes this important at all is it's basic bare bones, but we do have an onload event where we delay execution of this function while it waits for us to get the token. Alright, I will see you guys in a minute.